Alexa, set the timer for 14 minutes. So, so you said you needed Kevin to be that person that's brutally honest with you, or your mom. So, is that what's required to be your friend?
I tell everyone there are very few things that will bother me about a person, and it's pretty simple, like liars and thieves. Like I want nothing to do with liars and thieves. There's really no reason to ever lie to me, because I like to think I'm a pretty understanding, open, and like accepting person. So there's no reason to lie to me. Like, you can take $10 from my purse and tell me about it after you did it, or whatever, after you spend it on something, and I'll be like, okay, well, why did, like, well, I'll have a conversation with you about it. I'm not gonna, like, I try to be as understanding and as open as I possibly can. So I don't feel that there's any reason to ever be untruthful with me.
So, so is it okay, you know, if a friend says, how do I look, and you sort of say nice, whether you think it or not, or is that unacceptable in your circle of friends?
With certain people, like, it depends. Like, I know that some people are more sensitive to others, so I have to, like, reframe the way that I would address certain things. Like, I have a friend that she has a hard time taking any form of criticism, so she'll accept it, but it depends on the way that you say it to her.
Okay.
So, like, I'll address things differently with her than I would with Kevin, because Kevin, he wants that level of brutal honesty. Like, if he looks like crap, he wants to know he looks like crap. Like, I have very similar, but at the same time very different relationships with all of my friends.
Okay.
Like, me, Kevin, and my other friend James, like, it's been us since freshman year of high school.
Okay.
So we have a different level of understanding with each other than we do with the other people who've come into our group since. Like, we're all still very close. It's just I toned down my honesty from brutal to, I guess, just regular honesty. I don't know how to describe it.
So
with certain people.
I'm gonna. So when I look at the things that you described as having fun, it kind of comes up. In most instances, there are things that you can do alone, or you know that can be solitary,
Mm-hmm.
or like. And I'm not judging, or I'm just. Do you ever just sort of let your hair down, so to speak, and just be silly, or like spontaneous, or just?
I think that.
How old are you?
I'm 25. I think that the reason why most of the things I listed that I like to do are alone is probably because, I don't know, that's pretty much what I've been doing since I got back into school. Like, I've been finding ways to enjoy myself, whether I can do it with another person or not. Like, I have very limited time, so
Right.
I don't know, I guess I've been trying to find enjoyment where I can, when I can, and most of the time it's like midnight.
Right.
So nobody's really available
Right.
at that time.
I think that's great. Yeah. I mean, I think you've come up with some really good self-help things. I just worry that you're an old 25. That this is the time to have fun, and
I say all the time I was born in the wrong generation.
No, because so I guess, why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Because, like, the people that I, like, my friends like to go out on Saturdays and get really, really drunk or get really, really high and go to the club. I don't care for clubs. I don't like the aesthetic of clubs. I really don't like anything about clubs unless I'm already drunk.
Okay.
So, like, it's just, it's not my ideal way to have fun, and I feel like most of my generation, if you're not out getting lit, it's not a good time.
Okay.
So, like, I like relaxing things. I like enjoying people's company, good conversation. I like to try new foods with new people. Like, I have 3 friends that are pretty similar. 2 of them live in Connecticut, though, so it's like, when we visit, it's pretty much like us enjoying, like, craft brews and a nice meal to go with it, and then we'll explore new TV shows together. We'll explore new places together. Like, I haven't found many people that really enjoy that type of stuff. Like, it's pretty much all like let's get lit, and I hate that word. Never
Right.
mind
Right.
actually going and doing
Okay.
it.
And that, right. And does that make sense to you? Why you would hate that?
Yeah, like I mature. I like to think I matured at a very young age. I was the third born of 7 kids, so I was like mommy number 2 for the first, like, from age 10 to 17. So like I think I feel like I matured a lot faster than half of the people I graduated high school with, and like they didn't understand why going out to a house party on weekends wasn't fun to me. Like I couldn't enjoy it. I had to be home to help out with the family and the house and everything. So like I know, I think that like because at a young age I was finding other ways of enjoying my time and my weekends with my friends at home or in the area of home, that like it just wasn't something that ever really appealed to me.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that's okay. I hope through this exercise that you can become more comfortable with who you are. I mean, you've accomplished a lot. You work in a very serious type of job, a very important job. You know, you're very accomplished. I mean, you're a 4.0 student. You're getting your master's degree. I mean, that's some wonderful accomplishments. I just don't want you to get so to be so focused on the future that you miss what's the time that you have today. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's something my mom said to me before, and I get it. I do. I just
because it is a wonderful time
Yeah.
that I don't want. It is a wonderful time because you don't have the added responsibilities of relationships or children and again I really, you should be proud of yourself that you don't have financial stressors right now, and you're doing all the right things of saving money, and you're able to live within your means, and that's not the norm for the average 25-year-old. But you've lived in Dartmouth your whole life.
Mhm.
Okay, so are the friends that you have pretty much the ones that you grew up with that are still in the area? Or?
Yes and no. I had a long-term friend that I cut out of my life because I began to believe she was toxic. So after that, I kind of, I guess, sought friends elsewhere, like
Okay.
friends with similar interests to me, so friends
Yeah.
with similar career paths. So like I've made a lot of friends like through work. Like, I can honestly say that like half the people that I work with, I consider to be pretty good friends.
Okay.
That I would enjoy spending more time with outside of work than we do inside of work.
So the
yeah.
friends, the work friends, or is it that so? Can you think of the last time one of those people invited you to do something, and were you able to, not able to?
Yeah. So my friend Marcy, she invited me to her house after we went to a 6-hour training in Boston.
Okay.
And her family is great. Like I actually went, like got to spend good time with her family, and it was honestly like a really good time. That was, I want to say, a month ago.
So what made it a good time?
Just how welcoming her family was. Like they took the time to get to know me, and like I got to like talk to a whole bunch of new people, and it was fun. Like it was a very welcoming experience, I guess.
Tell me a little bit about her family. When you say you got to know her and her family?
So I went
was
to
that?
one of their family cookouts, and like they had all of her little cousins over. Like her family owns a 3-apartment house, so like it's literally her whole family.
Okay.
But yeah, we like played your normal cookout games with like the cornhole or whatever
Right,
it's called.
yeah.
Some horseshoes, some
Yeah.
badminton, like stuff like that.
Right.
They had like drinking games I didn't participate in because I had a 45-minute drive home.
Right. Okay.
But it was funny to watch and be the
Yeah.
only sober one in the room.
Okay.
Yeah, like I talked to like her mom and stuff like about Cape Verde because my grandfather's from Cape Verde, and got to
Okay.
like hear stories about like what it's like over there. And then I got to talk to her uncle, who is a licensed therapist, and he
Oh, wow,
owns his
that's
own
great.
practice.
Yeah.
So, like, he was like giving me tips and tricks and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it was a really
Yeah.
good time.
And so is it something that you'll plan to get together again, or just?
Yeah, we're supposed to. She's having a party because she's actually in the process of buying her first home.
Mhm.
So she's supposed to be having a party once they get like settled into the house and all that stuff. So that's something that myself and a bunch of our other coworkers are going to.
Okay.
Like-
So, we've spent some time today talking, kind of about how things kind of work. So one of the goals that we had sort of set up last week was to see if you, if the schedules go up, if you limited yourself with overtime. So you have one schedule up and you couldn't work whether you wanted to or not.
Mhm.
So do you feel comfortable that when we get into September schedule, can you set a goal of how much overtime you're going to work or what you're going to volunteer to do?
Yeah, I think I can. Like I take like the things that my best friend tells me to heart, and like he's told me like whenever I do like 12, 15 hours of overtime, like that's when like I like hit that brick wall and I don't want to be bothered with anything. Like I'm just too tired to do anything else. So I think that if I like limited myself to like 1 or 2 shifts instead of like 3 or 4 shifts.
So let's try to be more specific. So how do you want to limit yourself by days, hours? What?
I think I want to limit myself to like the hours of overtime I'm working. Like I'll pick up like in a pay period 4 shifts.
So 4 shifts in a
pay period,
which is I'm assuming is 2 weeks, right? Is it
Yeah, it's every 2 weeks.
And that's 4 times 8. That's 32 hours.
Yeah, that I'll pick up on top of the 40 I'm already working each week, which is 80 plus 40. Yeah.
So wait a second. So you're working 40.
It would be 120 hours total
in 2
weeks.
weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. I've done it. I've done it a lot.
So when the next schedule goes up for the first week of September, you'd normally work 40 hours. And an extra shift, I'm assuming they go into 8-hour shifts?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many shifts are you gonna try to work or not try to work?
I think that like max I should allow myself like 2, because I was doing like 4 extra shifts. Like I don't want to cut myself completely off from the option of overtime while we have it, because once they hire new employees, there won't be any overtime.
So has there ever been a time when there isn't overtime?
Yeah, the beginning of this year we were overstaffed, so there wasn't really any overtime available. Unless somebody called out and you had forced overtime, you weren't getting it.
Okay.
So now that we have it, like especially because like once holiday season hits, like everybody wants to work and nobody's really calling out. And there, as far as I know, is typically never overtime. I think like 2 shifts.
So that would be 6. So you're working a total of 56 hours.
Yeah, not a week, but like
not a week.
No, it would be 48 hours instead of.
Oh, so you'd be working 1 extra shift a week.
Yeah, and like I would rather do it on days that I'm already working instead of picking up on my days off.
So would it be safe to say that you're going to try to work 1 extra shift a week, but only if that overtime is available, to just extend your day?
Yeah.
So what I want you to decide, if you can right now, what's more important, having that free day off or the overtime, because I want you to be specific.
So that's like the thing that I'm working on right now is I don't want to pick up on my days off anymore.
Okay. So can we say it's safe to say those 2 days off are sacred for right now in a row?
Yeah.
And that should happen.
I want my 2 days off in a row, because that's what I agree to with my bosses. If I'm gonna have my days off, I want them back to back.
Okay.
But I've already told my boss I'm not picking up on my days off anymore, just because I kind of screw myself when I do that.
Okay, well, so that's great. So that's different. We didn't talk about that yet. So you've already decided that.
Yeah, I told him I'm not.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
High five. That's huge. I mean, from someone that was working 2 or 3 days a week to having that conversation, you were really afraid to have that conversation about letting people down and stuff, so that to put yourself first.
Yeah, just because she, like, I know that when they text me on my days off, my mom was like, yeah, so
Yeah.
like, if I stop the text messages from happening, then I'm
We didn't
less
talk about it.
likely to.
I'm really excited. That's great. So that you actually, change something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't know if I'll say no when
Well,
she's doing the
let's
schedule
just,
yet,
like
but
1 week at a time or
Yeah.
one pay period at a time. So when you said that to your boss, what did she say?
She was understanding. She was kind of like upset because she said that I'm like the person that she can really count on, and that she always knows that if she asks me that I'll say yes, and that kind of annoyed me, which kind of reassured my wish to not pick up on those days anymore. Because she pretty much told me that she knows that she can guilt me into coming in on my days off.
Yeah, so that's not a very
Yeah,
nice
so it's just
thing
like
to
cool.
say.
So like
When
you're
she's-
not appreciative of the fact that I
Right.
work more. You're kind of just taking advantage of my willingness to. So having the conversation kind of annoyed me to the point where she's like, all right, yeah, I definitely am not picking up on my days off.
So when she
anymore."
said that, did you say anything back to her?
No, because once feelings get hurt, then the pettiness comes out. So
Good
I
for
was
you.
just,
That
all right, that's fine. I'm still not working on my days off anymore, so don't text me.
okay. So that's great.
But yeah.
Okay, so that's good. I didn't know we were at that point. So awesome, and that you're gonna just try to work one extra shift
Mm.
that would be back to back.
Yeah, I
you're
think
already
just
working or whatever.
The frustration of a very difficult group of kids that we've had, the same kids that we had for like a week and a half, and like just the amount of exhaustion that myself and my coworkers were experiencing kind of drove me to the point where I can't do this. Like I can't work 6 days a week. It's just, this is not an option for me.
Okay. I mean, I in a perfect counseling world, it would have been nice if you came to that conclusion organically on your own.
Yeah.
But however you got there, and I'm glad that you got there. So if these kids drove you to that, then in some way that's a gift. And now it's just trying to stick to that goal. So do you think that that's something that is this helping to come and talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, I think having someone to like throw my ideas out at and have them like, I don't know, kind of help me better understand why it's bad for me to like work all these hours and like how that's overall affecting me, and have like somebody ask those hard questions of like, well, is this really worth it? I think that's definitely like really helpful.
Okay, and I want to caution you. I want to try to get where we're not. You use very black and white words,
Yeah.
good or bad. I'm this or that. Like it's not good or bad. It's just making. I want you to get comfortable where it's making the choice that's right for you. I
Yeah.
guess that's what I'd like to see you get out of these sessions. That you just get more comfortable in it. With this is what's right for me. So I found it was interesting that you look at your friend as they have to be brutally honest. So I'd like to just get where you decide if it's the right thing for you, whether you don't need that extra person, or I just want to get where there's nothing bad with making the choices that you made and working the hours that you made, but you can be at a point in your career or your life or school or whatever that at this point in time with I'm making different choices. So it's not you don't have to give up one for the other, and you could make the choice tomorrow that I choose to want to work more hours because for whatever reason I want to take a trip around the world, or for whatever that reason is. But I just want to get where you can be comfortable in deciding and having the tools that you decide what's best. And I think it's great. It sounds like you have some really good people that you can bounce things off of with your mom, and having, it sounds like you have one best friend and two that's again a super resource that not everyone has. So that you've got people that you can reach out to. I'd like to get where you can just use those, but sort of kind of get more comfortable making your own decisions and not have that. So it's one or the other.
Yeah.
That it's okay. There's lots of things in the middle, and that it can be your life's going to be always going to be fluid. You don't, so and you've made some, and I want you to you make really good choices. You make very mature choices, and I think, that's great. You were at a party and you realize I have to drive home. Not everybody would. Some people would have just went ahead and been drinking, and thought about it later, about the fact that they've got to drive home or whatever. So you're very disciplined and things, and I applaud you for that. I want to get where, you trust your own inner voice and decide what's best for you without it getting to where it's over the edge, where you're driven to it because it's at the point of not having any other choices. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I think, if I had come to the conclusion on my own at work, it probably would have been a more relieving, or I would have got more of a sense of relief from finally saying no to my boss, but where I was just exhausted and overworked, overtired, and mildly angry at my boss's choices or lack thereof, and the new employees. Like, I think it was less satisfying to finally say no. So yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. Like, I want to be able to do that on my own without having to be pushed past my limits.
Okay. Well, we're running out of time. We're a little over time today. So I'm going to cut things off now, and then we'll pick this up next week at the same time, same place.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks. Yeah. Alexa,